Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Jenna Flanagan. It's deadline day at Rikers Island. At the order of Governor Cuomo, all 16 and 17-year-olds detained on Rikers Island are set to be transferred to the Horizon Juvenile Facility in the Bronx. The move is a fundamental pillar of the Raise the Age law, which makes New York a state where juveniles are not treated as adults in the criminal justice system. Several city council members had sent a letter to both the mayor and the governor calling for the deadline to be pushed back, fearful that the plan to use Department of Correction officers at Horizon would turn the facility into a mini Rikers. Meanwhile, on the national level, the spotlight remains on Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. The FBI has launched an investigation limited in scope into the allegations of sexual misconduct against Kavanaugh, with one high-profile Democrat calling the probe nothing short of a farce. To put it all in perspective, I'm pleased to welcome John Lentz, editor of City and State New York, back to the show. John, as always, it's good to have you on.
Glad to be here.
So first, let's start as we did in the lead with Rikers Island. Tell me about this deadline.
Sure, this was a big law that was passed last year in Albany, Raise the Age, something advocates have pushed for some time. And what it does is make 16 and 17-year-olds tried as juveniles in court in New York for the first time. And actually, New York was kind of late in getting around to this. It had been one of two states, along with North Carolina, to make that hadn't made this change. They went ahead with this change. Today's the day, the deadline date, to transfer those juveniles out of facilities around the state. And Rikers Island's one of them.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, tell me about what the concerns are that some of the city council members have made, because, of course, if you're just taking a situation and you're just moving it to a different location, which sounds like what their concern is, does that really help?
Sure, yeah, that is a big concern actually among multiple parties. A lot of the city council members, overall, they're in favor of this move. They're just raising questions about how it's being done. So yeah, they're saying maybe it's being rushed, it's not being done in the right way, the way they've refitted some of these facilities. Actually, there's one in the Bronx in particular, the Horizon facility. They've made it more like a jail. It's safer, it's more protected. They're bringing over correction officers as well from Rikers Island. And advocates say that could bring the culture of violence from Rikers Island to these facilities. And actually some of the advocates say the same thing as well.
Mm-hmm. So is this a case where perhaps what they're looking for is something perhaps more, I don't want to say holistic, but something that addresses the fact that these are young people who have, albeit some of them have made horrific mistakes, but young people who have made mistakes and can still be rehabilitated? Sure,
and that's really the goal, and I think everyone's on the same page there with that goal. And there are a lot of benefits overall here. These people, if they're in a juvenile detention facility, they're less likely to reoffend when they go out. They're going to be safer. They're not going to get attacked. They won't have these lengthy sentences. It can help them in the long run. They won't commit suicide. It's less likely for that to happen. Mm-hmm. But again, if you have a facility that's more like an actual jail, you have the same prison guards moved over. Are you really hitting that mark? A lot of people say no.
Okay. Well, I do want to turn the conversation to, of course, the story from last week, Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh. Now, of course, we do know now that there will be an FBI investigation, partly spurred on by advocates who had cornered Senator Jeff Flake. But there's been criticism of the investigation, correct?
Yeah, the big thing, 1 week. Is that long enough to really dig in and find any evidence to support either account, either the accuser, Christine Blasey Ford, who accused him of attempted rape when they were teenagers, or Kavanaugh himself, who angrily defended himself and said he's innocent. And you do see different arguments. It does seem like the 7-day period, it's more of a political thing. They want to get this done and over with and move on to confirmation. But can they get things done that quickly? There's some evidence, yes. In fact, if there's a terrorist attack, the FBI is able to move very quickly, interview all the people involved. The interesting thing, though, is at least so far over the weekend, there are only going to be 4 witnesses interviewed. That may expand. We'll be watching to see what happens there.
Of course, we'll definitely be watching very closely. And of course, I can't let you go without talking about the winners and losers list. And a Western New York congressman, Chris Collins, who I think so many of us, at least in New York City, didn't know about, has made the list.
Sure. And once again on the list, the saga continues. He's a Western New York Republican, had been indicted on charges of insider trading, stepped down, decided to he was going to run for re-election. He's been moved into a more competitive race by some of these national experts. It'll be interesting to see what this Kavanaugh fight, what impact that has on his race and other toss-up races in New York. There's a lot of suburban areas in his district. Women may be unhappy if Kavanaugh is confirmed and this sexual assault allegation, is not taken seriously. That could really influence votes.
And could carry over into numerous other races.
Right.
Yeah.
Even House races, obviously it's the Senate that would confirm, but I think you're going to see a lot of people really upset on both sides of the aisle about this issue.
Again, another reason to keep our eye on the Supreme Court nominee. Now, of course, we are both in local journalism, so I think we do have to acknowledge that there was a big development for local journalism here in New York City.
Sure. There's this new nonprofit entity called The City. It's going to partner with New York Magazine, and I think they're going to hire maybe around 15 reporters and try to fill that gap. You've seen, again, the layoffs at the Daily News, DNA Info was shut down, Gothamist temporarily was shut down, came back. But, even if it's something of a competitor, overall it's good. It's good for the city.
Okay, that's what I wanted to get at, is that it actually is good, even though, yes.
Right. And they want to, really hone in on local journalism, look at communities, neighborhoods around New York City that haven't been covered as well lately.
All right, well, listen, John, always thank you for joining us and giving us the what's what on what's going on in the state, city, and of course the federal government. We'll have you back for more updates.
Thank you.
Thank you.